How do you know if it's Louis or Louis? These are the age-old questions that I ask myself when I try to host a show and I talk about something that I know, but maybe I've only read about it and I don't know how words work. I'm Phil. Welcome to Pretty Good Cooking. Tonight on the show, we're gonna make beans and cornbread. This famous song, it's called Beans and Cornbread. This is gonna be not a vegetarian dish, in spite of the primary components being beans and cornbread. Cornbread has been requested probably by a few people, but the one that stands out in my mind is our Australian correspondent, Mr. Hinks, aka Lee. So I'm gonna start with the beans, and I'm gonna confess, I never cooked beans before, my whole life. So these are dry beans. I'm cooking pinto beans, and here they are. You can see I left one bean in there just so you know what it looks like. That was actually not intentional. I just didn't happen to get it out of the bag. This 1 pound of beans, dry beans, and conventional wives' tale. But can you say wives' tale in 2019? Like implying that wives don't know what they're doing. I think that there's some, I don't know, never. They say you gotta soak your beans. So you can either soak them overnight, or you can do what's called the quick soak, which is what I did prior to the show because I wanted to expedite our process. So the quick soak, you put the beans in a pot, you put some water on them beans, and you boil them. You just bring it to a boil, then you turn it off the heat, and you leave it for an hour. Which is why I wanted to do it before anyone got here. So I'm gonna strain my beans. These have been quick soaked. Now, do you actually need to do this? I read some science on the internet that said, no, you don't gotta do this. But probably most critically, I read somewhere, and again, I don't know if this is true science or fake science, they said that if you don't soak them, the sugars on the beans that cause farts persist. So by soaking them, it could alleviate the gas from your ass. So, being the kind friend that I am and knowing that I was gonna share these beans with my friends, I soaked them. Alright, so we'll put some more water on these beans, exchanging that liquid. I don't know why I guess you gotta rinse them too. So we're gonna give them a blast with the kitchen blaster. As I've said before, you wash away the fart juice. Alright, so you are supposed to use like 3 cups of water for every cup of beans, and that's 4 cups of beans in a pound, which means that's roughly 12 cups of water. I'm gonna just slowly rotate in the kitchen. Alright, so you may be wondering why I haven't gotten straight to the drinking, and it's because these beans are gonna have to cook for a while. And I may have had a little something before. When I say before, I'm alluding to that was 4 cups of water I put in thus far. And I don't think I can fit 12 cups of water in this pot. Yeah, that ain't gonna work. I'm gonna use 8 cups of water, and then we'll replenish it as we go. Okay, so there's our beans, there's our water. I read many things about beans, many things, and one of them is that if you cook them completely covered, they will explode. My mother has a story that she once cooked beans in a pressure cooker, and it did explode. It exploded and covered the ceiling in beans. She was very young at the time, probably like 21, 22, and she could have died. And if that had happened, the beans would have prevented my existence. So, exact alternate reality revenge on these beans. So here's those beans in the water. We're gonna bring it up to a simmer, and we need to get some flavor in these beans. So tonight's flavor is salt pork. It's cheap. So salt pork looks like this. It's pork belly. I'm gonna open that up. Cornmeal is so it's what you call an economy brand, not high quality. It's in fact perhaps low quality. Shit, you eating beans, so I don't know if it does matter. All right, so the salt pork is similar to bacon, but it's not smoked. It's just cured in salt. It's like cured pork belly, so it shouldn't have any smoky flavor. Just pork. And you can see there's still skin, so you gotta remove that skin. All right, and then we're gonna just chop this into, as I'll just keep quoting Cooking with Dog, into bite-sized pieces. And you know, if we cook these long enough, it's a good chance this pork's just gonna like melt away. Some people, when using salted things, will say you gotta like boil them first to release some of that salt. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about that. I'm not worried about salty beans, salty beanus. We're just gonna throw it in there, and you know, maybe the salt will season the beans. I don't want salt and beans. You know what I'm saying? Why extract the salt from the pork and then put more salt in the beans? So we're just gonna plop that in there. Pork and beans. Pork and beans. Smells pretty good. Smells like pork. All right. I don't think I'm gonna actually flavor these beans too much because I just want to make a basic bean. I am gonna put in a bay leaf. 1 or 2, maybe 1. Damn, look at that thing. Build a boat on that. All right, so we're gonna get that simmering. I also read sometimes beans taste better if you don't cover them at all. Just let them cook. You could put chicken stock in there, onions, seasoning. I'm just making basic beans. So we're gonna make basic beans. Maybe we'll flavor them at the end, I don't know. But we'll be back when this is simmering. And then after that, we're gonna have to keep an eye on it. I guess I could drink now. I'm gonna make a drink. All right, we're at a simmer. Here's that simmer. It's a simmering. So we're just gonna let that go for a couple hours till the beans are tender and done. Probably have to top off the liquid eventually. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Making a bean. Ah. He's hydrated. Look at these beans. They haven't been even cooking that long. It's probably like an hour. And they're already very bean-like. We tasted them. They taste good. So we're just gonna let them keep going. They need to cook a little bit longer, but they're going good. So let's make cornbread. Okay, I have looked at lots of recipes online. And I distilled it down into one recipe that I'm making up. So Phil original. And basically what I did is I took all the components and I made them into as easy of measurements as possible. So if it was like 2/3 cup of sugar, I was like, F that, we use a 1/2 cup of sugar. So there's nothing other than 1s and 1/2s in this recipe. You can't F that up. I can't F that up. All right, so we're gonna start with our dry ingredients. No, we're gonna preheat the oven. Now preheat the oven. We want 400. I can't remember the last time I turned on my oven. It's going to start with cornmeal. Yellow cornmeal. It's got to be yellow. Otherwise, your cornbread's going to be white, and that's weird. All right, it starts with a cup of cornmeal. I bought the cheapest cornmeal I could find. You should too, because this is some cheap-ass food. I went out and I bought the ingredients ahead of time for this, and for beans and cornbread, I spent $10. So tonight, the boys are eating for $10. All right, next up, an equal amount of all-purpose white flour. All right, there it is. Bam. I can't find my tablespoon measuring spoon. So in that nominally named instrument, I have the table, I don't have the spoon. But because I am a man of science, well learned in ratios, I know that 1 tablespoon equals 3 teaspoons. And therefore I'm gonna do that with this baking powder. 1, 2, and you know what to do. All right, that's our baking powder. About a tablespoon. And I'm sad that I had to use 3 of something because I wanted everything to be 1 or 1/2, but it's 1 tablespoon. We just had to improvise. Next up is salt. And we're gonna use a teaspoon of that. Continuing on with our dry ingredients, we're gonna use about a 1/2 cup of sugar. This is optional. Some people like sweet cornbread, some people don't. I think about a 1/2 cup is gonna get us right in between where it's gonna be a little sweet, but not too sweet. All right, and barring any forgetfulness, that's our dry ingredients. One of these days I'm gonna get a better whisk. I'm gonna whisk these dry ingredients together. There they are. I'm gonna leave kind of like a well in the middle. Well, I got a stick of butter. That might actually be too much butter, but I don't care. When I take that butter, I'm gonna put it in the bowl. Now, you got a choice here to make, which is, do I wanna use 1 egg? Do I wanna use 2 eggs? If you are sticking with the 1 and 1/2s, 1 and 2 are both in 1/2, therefore you can use 1 or 2 eggs. Eggs are gonna make it fluffier. So I'm gonna use 2 eggs. But also part of why I wanna use 2 eggs is I got 2 eggs left in this carton and I don't wanna leave 1 lonely egg. I think that's pretty reasonable. Ow.
Are those eggs expired?
Yeah. All right, now I got buttermilk. It's milk, but it's butter. We're gonna add a cup of buttermilk. Now you can with this recipe by adding more or less milk, more or less butter, more or less eggs, more or less sugar. It all seems to just work out. And also, I kind of regret putting the butter in. But that's okay. It's melty enough, like it's room temperature butter, that I think if I just hit it with a fork, it would be okay. I'm gonna get a fork. Mix that up. Really, it's not gonna matter, okay? I'm gonna beat the egg a little bit in the milk. We're gonna get some butter in that buttermilk. But really, I'm just gonna mix all the together. And what the do you care? You gonna make this? Are you using this for educational content? That ain't what this is for. Okay, there it is. Put that shit in there. All right, now we work it together. And like many things that are good, you don't want to overmix it. But you could mix it enough if you're not dumb. We're gonna put this in a cast iron skillet because that's a fancy way of making it. You could just use a cake pan or a 9x9 dish. Yeah, you can make muffins. I really like corn muffins. But I want to take this moment to demonstrate that Kevin and I are from different areas. And I say iron, and he says
iron, iron, iron.
Kevin and I have been playing Minecraft, and he's like, I found some iron. It cracks me up every time. All right, so you can grease this skillet. I cleaned mine out a little bit. There's still schmutz, but it's cleaner than normal. You can grease it with butter, or you can be a lazy bitch. Spray that shit. Okay, so we're gonna take this fine cornbread mix shit, put it in the pan. Now, there are some variations, interesting variations on the cornbread, where they'll actually heat up the skillet before putting in the cornbread mix. And what that does is you get an extra brown, crispy, crunchy outside. Okay, let's put this shit in the oven. We're gonna cook that 20 to 25 minutes, maybe half an hour, until a toothpick can be inserted into the middle and pulled out clean. So we will be back. See you soon, raccoon. These beans. I've been tasting these beans. I think they need some salt. So I'm gonna add some salt right now. Here's that kosher salt. I'm just gonna do one of these once-overs. I think that's gonna taste real nice. This gentleman be eating beans. Also, I've been thinking about those beans. And that's the last bean meme that I'm gonna reference because the others are terrible. But John made us look at them anyways. I don't wanna look at no more bean memes. All right, check this out. It's been just about 20 minutes. Check that cornbread. Bam! It's beautiful. You give it a shake, it's not wiggling. Do our toothpick test right in the middle. Put it down, bring it out. It's clean. So that's done. We're gonna let that rest while we finish up our meal. Got some butter in this pan. Got a Tbsp garden onion that I'm going to slice up. We're gonna saute that. Now I want to reiterate, as I have many times throughout these garden episodes, the satisfaction of cooking with something you grew is immense. It is just really nice. Whew, man, that onion smells nutty. We're just gonna give thin slices. Doesn't have to be perfect by any means. We're gonna saute that in butter. And I did not hold back on the butter. This will go on the beans. We'll give that a saute and then we'll plate her up and good to go. I'm excited to eat a plate of beans. All right, check out these beans. They got a nice broth. They're fully cooked. So let's plate up the beans. All right, let's cut into that cornbread. Big fire. Look at that. Oh man, that's a nice crumb. Fully cooked. Looks fluffy. That shit's gonna be watch it. All right, there's our cornbread. We'll take some of these honeys, put them on my beans. I don't know why they do that. That's just a thing you can do. It sounds good to me. Okay, now I like my cornbread with butter. So I'm gonna take some of this butter and slap it on there. Okay, and the heat of the cornbread will melt that down a bit. And then I like mine with honey as well. This is tulip poplar honey. It's fancy. So I'm gonna give that a drizzle. And look at that healthy meal. And if you want, you could add some tomatoes from the garden because goddamn it, you need a vegetable. And there is our motherfucking beans and cornbread. Let's try them beans. So we'll start with the beans. No honeys. They're fantastic. Somehow they taste better than canned beans. I've only ever really eaten canned beans in my whole life. I think that that onion will be nice. Oh yeah. A little bit of that salt pork too, which is mainly just fat now. Okay. I'm sure you people want to see the cornbread. Cornbread. Right, here it is. A little bit of butter and honey on top. Oh man, that is some good ass cornbread. Holy shit. Have I unlocked the golden ratios of cornbread? Yeah, that is what it is. Man, I need some more butter. That's so f***ing good. Very good. Delicious. That's what Bean said to cornbread. Meet me on the corner tomorrow night. That's what Bean said to cornbread. That's how you do it. Tune in next week for hopefully a legitimate episode. Hopefully none of us are on vacation. Or we might lose some subscribers. And by the way, stop watching this show. Don't subscribe. We can't be having this get out. Okay, bye.